This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. More than a dozen shipowners have made payments of about $300,000 apiece to release vessels detained by the Indonesian Navy, which said they were anchored illegally in Indonesian waters near Singapore, according to sources with direct knowledge of the matter. The dozen sources include shipowners, crew and maritime security sources, all involved in the detentions and payments, which they say were either made in cash to naval officers or via bank transfer to intermediaries who told them they represented the Indonesian Navy. Reuters was not able to independently confirm that payments were made to naval officers or establish who the final recipients of the payments were. The detentions and payments were first reported by Lloyd's List Intelligence, an industry website.
Crude oil prices fell on Monday on expectations of increasing supply, while higher energy costs and rising COVID-19 cases are also seen weighing on demand. Brent crude futures fell $1.01, or 1.2%, to $81.16 a barrel, as of 13:53 GMT. U.S. West Texas Intermediate, WTI, crude lost 96 cents, or 1.1%, to $79.83 a barrel. The fall came after UN climate talks ended Saturday with a deal that for the first time targeted fossil fuels as the key driver of global warming.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
China's daily crude oil throughput rebounded in October from its lowest level in more than a year in the previous month, with refiners cranking up operations amid high fuel prices and robust demand. Processing volumes in October were 58.4 million tons. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, showed on Monday, equivalent to 13.75 million barrels per day, BPD, up from a 16-month low of 13.64 million barrels of oil per day in September. Production was down 3% from October 2020, although total throughput for the first 10 months of 2021 reached 585.15 million tons, up 5.2% from a year earlier.
India's oil minister said on Monday he was concerned about high oil prices, and price volatility could harm the world's energy transition. Hardeep Singh Puri told Reuters on the sidelines of an oil and gas conference in Abu Dhabi that when petrol prices and diesel prices are going literally through the roof, obviously, we are concerned. India has been at the forefront of efforts to urge the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, to ensure responsible pricing of oil that suits both producer and consumers.
Next, we have the top news in metal markets.
China's average daily aluminium output for October fell to its lowest level in over a year, according to Reuters calculations based on data released by the Statistics Bureau, as smelters faced continued restrictions due to power shortages. Monthly production, however, rose from the prior month, official data showed on Monday, ending a run of 5 straight monthly declines. The world's top producer of the metal churned out 3.13 million tons of primary aluminium last month, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, said. That was up from 3.075 million tons in September but down 1.8% year-on-year.
Japan and the United States have agreed to start discussions aimed at tackling additional U.S. tariffs on Japanese steel and aluminium imports during a bilateral meeting in Tokyo, Japan's industry ministry said on Monday. The meeting was held between Japan's Industry Minister Koichi Hagiuda and U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, but a ministry official said no concrete measures were discussed and no date was set for the talks. It comes after the United States said on Friday it would open talks that could lead to an easing of those tariffs, a long-standing irritant in trade relations between the two. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. China has laid out a clear path for seedmakers to get approval for genetically modified crops, under proposed rule changes that should lead to commercial cultivation of GM corn. Details of the planned regulatory overhaul for the seed industry were published on Friday by the Agriculture Ministry in a draft document that is open for public comment until December 12. The proposed changes mean that a handful of recently approved GM traits developed by Chinese companies could be ready for market launch in a year.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.